Hi guys, my name is Buki. I'm one of the sewing instructors at Western Sewing Repair Hub. So today we're going to be making a fabric bow. And what do we need to make this? You need your fabric. So right now I have 4 pieces of fabrics that I'm going to be using. This is the main fabric and this is 7 inches by 9 inches. And right now I think it's I should tell you that you can use your desired measurement. So this is going to be an average bow, but if you want a really big bow, you can increase the measurements. And if you want a smaller one, it's okay, you can also reduce the measurements. But this one that I'm making today is 7 inches by 9 inches. So I have an interfacing also that I'm going to be sticking to the back of this, and it's also the same measurements as this one, 7 inches by 9 inches also. So this small piece is 3 inches by 3 inches, it's a square piece, and the last one is 4 inches by 20 inches. This is the longest piece that I'm going to be using. So like I always say, the first thing you do is lay out your fabric, cut your measurements, and then after cutting the measurement, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this first. I'm going to fuse this interfacing to the back. Okay, so this is the back side of the fabric. I'm going to just fuse this to the back side of the fabric with an iron. So I'm going to bring the board over and then press this on top of it. So if you're trying to fix your interfacing, make sure that the rough side is facing the back side of the fabric, because the rough side is the part where you have the glue, so it can stick to the fabric. So I like to iron on the fabric and not on the interfacing, because the interfacing is so light it can get burnt by the iron easily. So I prefer to iron on the fabric, which can withstand more heat. So just iron. It's not hot yet. So just make sure your iron is hot enough, and then you can just press it, and the interfacing is going to stick to the fabric. So because I have to iron all the pieces also, I'm going to do all my ironing first before I start stitching. So once I'm done with this, I can put this aside and then iron the small piece. So this, for the small piece, I'm going to fold it into 2, right side facing, and then the back side is facing me. I'm going to fold this into 2 and then open it up and fold the 2 edges to meet. So this meets at the middle, and the other edge also meets at the middle, and then I'm going to just fold them on top of one another and iron. So I'm going to have a really small piece. The last piece I'm going to be ironing is really light, so that's why I'm turning down the iron. So this is the wrong side of the fabric and this is the right side. So I'm going to put the right sides together and then iron it just straight. Yep, I'm done ironing. So for this long piece, what I'm gonna do next is put the edges together and just try to cut like a slant edge. Yep, just like this, so I can have the pointed end when I'm done stitching it. So I'm done with this, and I can put this to the side so we can start stitching. So the first piece I'm going to stitch is the big one. So what I'm going to do is fold this so the short edges can meet, and then I'm going to leave a little bit of opening, just like we always do, to turn this project right side out. So my opening is going to be just in the middle of the project. So because it's not a very big piece, I'm not leaving so much opening, I'm just leaving a little bit of space right in the middle, just so I can turn this project right side out. So this is just about 1.5 inch of space. So I'm going to put this on the machine and just stitch all the way down. So now I'm going to turn it to the other side and also stitch down. So for this, so I don't miss my opening, I can just start my stitch from here. Yep. turn this right side out. Just open it up. Okay. Yeah, before I turn it right side out, I'm gonna cut the edges. Just cut as close enough as possible to the stitch, but don't cut your stitch. So I'm just gonna trim this off because I have excess fabric on this side. Then I can turn it right side out. Make sure that I push all the sides out. Okay, so I have this small opening that I need to close right there. So what I can do is I can just run a stitch over this to close it, or I can just leave it this way because at the end of the project it's not going to show. So I can decide to run a stitch or just leave it. So I'm putting that aside and then we can work on this. So for this, I'm going to close from this pointed edge all the way to the middle, leave a little bit of space to turn it right side out, and then stitch all the way down to the second side, all the way to this pointed side. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the excess thread and the excess fabric at the edge. I need a sharp scissors. So to cut the excess thread at the edges. And also this one. So now I'm going to turn this right side out. I'm just gonna put my finger in. Oh, I didn't take this one in, so I have to do this stitch again because I have a little opening right here. So okay, I think that's the only opening that I have. Tucked in. Okay, fine. So now I can turn the right side out. So you put your finger in, like I was saying, all the way to the end, and just use this finger to push it out. So now it's the right side. I'm going to use my pencil to push the edge out, and I do the same thing for the second side. Put my thumb all the way in. Use my index to push it out. Okay. And now I'm going to iron this so everything can be nice and flat. We're gonna bring back the iron to iron both pieces that I just worked on. This side is still a looks good. Okay, now it's good. Yep. And then I iron the first piece that I worked on. So now that my two pieces are ready, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work with needle and thread today. So I'm going to use my needle and thread to push this together. So now you're going to see why I said you don't need to close this. So I'm just going to insert my needle right here. Just make sure it's in the middle or close to the middle, and just do like a running stitch right in the middle, just this way, and then the needle is out on the other side. I can just push it out and make sure that everything is like perfect, the sides are out. So this is why we added the interfacing, so we can have this rigidity on the fabric when we're done, on the project when we're done. So once that is like tight enough, you know it's tight enough, just push the needle through the thread and tie a knot. Just tie a knot. Make sure it's tight. You can repeat this step 2 or 3 times depending on how tight you think it is. Okay, so I think it's tight enough. I can cut this out now and put this. So this one I'm going to be folding into two equal lengths, and then right in the middle it's going to go on top of this. And remember the tiny piece that we have, this is going to hold it together. So that's why I'm not so worried about this thread showing, because I know I'm still going to use this to hold it together. So now I'm just going to stitch this closed. So put it on the machine and just stitch it. Just run the stitch back and forth like 2 or 3 times, and like mine, it's not very perfect, but let's try it again. Another thing you can do at this stage is use a zipper foot. Okay, yeah, it's good. But you can also use needle and thread. I don't have a threaded needle, so I'm not going to use a needle and thread on this one right now. So after you're done with this, you have this one showing on the outside. You just turn it inside. So just turn, just so you can have a neat job. Just turn it inside. So when you're making this, you can decide to use all pattern fabric. You can decide to use one plain and one pattern like I just did, and you can just play around with it and then see what the result is going to be. So now we've done this on the inside and the stitch is not showing anymore. So this is what we have. All you need to do is just adjust this perfectly, and then you have your bow. So this can go on your t-shirts, you can put it on your headband, you can also put it on the pin you use to hold your hair, and then it just sticks to your hair like this. Maybe it's too long, but yeah, you can make this shorter if it's, but this is perfect for your t-shirt, for whatever you want to use it for. So this is another project you can make with your scrap fabric, and it's also something you can give out to people. You can use this for decoration, you know, so many things you can use this for. Okay, so that's what we have for you today. Thank you guys for joining us. Hi Liz, hi Moji. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us, and join us again next week for another online sewing class. Till then, cheers, bye.